What's going on, guys? Faisal Velani here from Velani Consulting, and welcome back to the Cultural Shift. And I've got a guest today who's probably got his hands in every single thing that you can imagine. Adam Komoroski. Adam, how's it going, my man?
It's going, man. Beautiful day out. You can't complain.
I
So,
see that. You know what? You're probably making a lot of my viewers jealous right now because I think so many people have been just huddled up at home that just
mhm.
the view behind you is something we're all craving, man.
I hope so. I hope I am doing that. No, just kidding.
Hey, so
So,
Adam, I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off. I'm so curious because I read your bio and I read on there that it says the marketing guy is marketing guy, and
ah,
I come from a marketing background essentially. So
yep.
I just want to kick it off there. What is it about you that makes you the marketing guy's marketing
Oh,
guy?
man. In that bio, that's right. Because I know where that was coming from. It's funny because a marketing guy,
Mhm.
copywriter, wrote that for me.
No.
So, it's probably been actually over 10 years now.
Wow.
So, I was obsessed with especially internet marketing for a very long time. And
Mhm.
just, I guess one of the stories that kind of got me into marketing, and maybe that's why that says that, or he put that, was one of my first ventures, you could say, was a pet waste removal company. So basically,
Okay.
just picking up dog do essentially is what it was. I called the company. It was called Dirty Deeds, actually, and
Nice.
I had no customers. I'm in a small market,
Mhm.
and I connected with somebody. And how I found out about it was in a small business magazine. This is, well, maybe late 90s, early
Okay.
2000s. And I was like, oh, this person's making a lot of money. This sounds like I could do this. And so I reach out to that person that's in the magazine, and she's like, hey, we're doing like this convention for this industry, like in the next month or something like that. Why don't you come on down? I'm like, okay. So I went on and did that, went to this thing, came back up here to Wisconsin, and I'm thinking, how can I get business? So I email at that time. There's newspapers around yet. There's two majors
Yeah.
in the market, and email them. They catch on to it. They do a story on me, big whole page in the business section and everything.
Okay.
From that, the news media picks me up. So I have news stations wanting to do interviews. It was with myself and somebody else actually at the time,
Mhm.
and from there it like went viral. I even had a buddy of mine like a few hours away. He's like, I just saw you on TV, man. I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't even know that was you. you know, and that was on
Nice.
the one of the news stations or networks. And from there, I had radio stations from around the world actually calling me. So that's kind of
Wow.
where everything took off. I was like, this is kind of cool.
Mhm.
So, and that's where I still had like 5 clients making no money, and there's other people out there doing $500,000 to $1 million in revenue, and I'm doing like, couple $100 or something like that.
Oh man. Okay.
So, but they could not get any kind of traction like that, which was funny. But that's right.
So
Things like I that's what kind of got my groove. I loved marketing, and from there, I was just took off.
So how did you scale that then? I mean, marketing is such a it's an essential first step, but if you don't utilize it to its ability, what you need to do with it, a lot of
Right.
people get a lot of visibility, but they don't
Yes.
get traction. So how did you get
Right.
traction behind it?
Well, I got traction. That's a good question. Behind the marketing, at least, you mean, or
Hmm.
just the way that thing went viral? That's how I got traction, and people would start seeing. They saw me everywhere at that point. So, hey, I got
Okay.
instant authority. I was trusting. I looked like a trusting person, even though I'm
Right.
running around in this beater car with some magnets on the side. You know, and from there,
Uh,
people started calling me. And again, this was a small market, blue collar market, and people where most people are like, oh, I can do that myself. I'm not going to pay somebody to do that.
right.
But I did start growing it from there, and one of the problems I was totally green in business and
Hmm.
trying to scale something like that. I was eventually gave up because you can only do so much by yourself in one day, and bringing
Right.
on employees and doing all that stuff the right way is, yeah, didn't work out so well.
Okay.
So it's kind of one of my first lessons, and it was fun. And that was that, though. At that point, I just moved on to some other shiny object, basically, which,
Nice.
again, I'm not sure if you saw that one paragraph I sent in about the whole reboot thing, and
Yeah.
the whole mistakes being made and all that. Man,
Right.
I'm your mistake guy. If anybody's made a lot of mistakes in business, and a lot of people do, but man, I'm pretty successful at making mistakes. So
You know what though? So I have a saying that I talk about a lot is just because you failed at something doesn't make you a failure, right? If you just realize the distance between
yes,
you and success is that wall of failure, and if you just hit it over and over again, you'll eventually get there. You sound like you've gone through that failure a ton of times. What is it internally that gets you going though, right? What is that? What's that motivation that says, I don't care. I'm gonna get back up again and I'm gonna do this again.
It's crazy. I don't know if I'm just dumb or just very persistent. And I think it's more persistent because over the years, I've gathered a lot of information. I've learned a lot. I don't keep making the same mistakes. There's a fire in my belly. I don't know where it comes from sometimes. I think it's come from maybe being younger. And that's where a lot of things I think in people's lives come from is something happening more in your childhood. And, we didn't have a lot of money growing up, and I was, get picked on for that. And it's something that, builds, I had to work really hard to get anything I wanted. And it's just something that's systematically in me, and it doesn't bother me. I can get up and grind every single day. I'll work hard and, till I fizzle out at the end of the day and get back up and do it again. And to me, it's fun. I don't know why. It's basically competition. I don't know.
So I've seen a lot of people who have this type of stamina, right? Where Michael Jordan is like the biggest one that comes to my mind. Where this man used to smoke cigars, go gambling, be out till 3 a.m, and then he's up for a game or he's up for a practice at 8 a.m. and can outrun anybody and everybody.
That's nuts.
The one thing that I found is the people who have that usually really enjoy what they do, right? For them, it's not a chore waking up at 5 a.m. They just can't wait. Sleep is just something that they have to get through.
Yes.
Right. So where you found your energy, is it because you've always followed what you really truly love to do? And if that's the case, have you ever ran into a time when you didn't follow it and you're like, I don't want to do this because it's draining my energy?
Yes, absolutely. And that was in one of the, I was on a company out in Colorado. It was a drilling company. And my goal, what I wanted to do was business development, grow companies, sales, revenue. That's more of my love and passion to do. But I was involved heavily with all aspects of that company, trying to learn the operations of it, trying to, work with employees and play the HR almost type of person, working in the books and everything. Yes. Yeah. And it's like a lot of people have to go through, and I'm kind of doing that right now, but it's a different level. It's a heck of a lot more fun. It's not quite as extensive or cumbersome as what I was involved in out there. And that's where I would still put in a lot of hours. I had to get up early because I had to, but it wasn't the same, woohoo, let's go get it. It was like, I have to do this. And it's, you burn out. And I was almost 2 years ago, a little over that, probably about 2.5 years ago, I hit that wall and I was just done. I think I got way more gray hair since then, actually, from that. So yeah. And health issues too. I got health issues from all that as well. That I'll still be battling. I still am battling, but the positive outlooking on that, I did learn a lot from all that situation, from book work or different parts of a company, but also getting this health issue has also taught me that you gotta eat right. Number one, you do something to get some sleep, but what you feed your body is super important. And if you do that right, even your stamina goes even higher at that point. So it helps you out a lot. So the positive of that, come out learning how to eat food the right way.
So what was your culture shift then, right? Because typically I see this a lot with small business owners. I used to be a small business owner multiple times over. And you're right. You're the salesperson, you're the CEO, you're the COO, you're the janitor, you're the marketing guy, you're everybody, right?
Yes.
You wear multiple hats, but eventually those hats they wear you down after a while, right? So I see two kind of shifts with business owners. Ones who just have such a hard time letting go control because they think that nobody is going to do it better than them. And before you and I got on, right, you brought up Gary Vee. Yes. Gary says this all the time. Nobody's going to love your baby like you loved your baby. It's impossible for you to think that way. So be realistic, have realistic expectations, and you'll get there. And then there's some who find that freedom, who realize that their employees are going to make mistakes. And that's perfectly fine because out of those mistakes, they'll learn how to grow and how to get better. So which route did you take?
It's funny you say that because I'm working in that, I was telling you about that bulk rock salt company that I'm working in. Last year I was still doing everything on my own yet, wanting to do everything because that point, who's going to do it as good as I can? I don't want that, if somebody else touches that, they're going to screw something up. It's going to make it way harder on me and blah, that craziness that a lot of people probably put in their heads. Essentially, like you said, they're going to make mistakes and that's just the reality of it. And
Right.
you just learn from those mistakes, and you put in place stopping points that,
Right.
You've seen it already, so it doesn't happen anymore, or hopefully it doesn't happen anymore. So I am bringing in more people at this point to take over a lot of different tasks. In some cases, as VAs to do a lot of my administrative work at this point. So
Right.
I have little systems I've been creating. Actually, the last week, I've been creating a lot of different videos, just telling, teaching or training what
Right.
they need to do for everything. And then I get on calls with them every single day and just go over that with them. And that's going to open up everything immensely for me. I think that's hopefully what you're looking for, the answer you're looking for, that shift.
Yeah.
That's it right there. Because I can see it now because I'm working with them, and doing those videos is very helpful. And they're going ahead. I'm giving them a little test, and they're doing it like, you know what, there's other people that can do this. So,
Yeah.
And it does take a ton of weight off your shoulders, because now I can go back to focusing on growing the company, not being that day-to-day operation of the grind to get
Yes.
slapped back and forth all day long, and
Yeah.
you not really getting that far fast. Now I can sit back once they're up and running like they should be, and we're going to have a heck of a test this upcoming winter. I can sit back, watch it, see what's happening, and then keep working on growth from there. So it's exciting.
There's two parts to growing anything, right? You have to work on the business, which is the strategy, and then you have to work in the business, which is the operations. And I think there's two types of companies, right? There's companies who love to innovate, right? They'll come up with brand new ideas, but they can't execute. Right? They're always trying this new shiny object, and they never get momentum. Their flywheel never picks up. And then there's companies who are so good at solving issues that that's all they do. They never look for opportunities. They just get up every day saying, "What issue can I solve?" And then there's the third type, which takes over the world, like the Amazons, the Apples, the Teslas, where they solve their issues and they work on opportunities, and that's how they grow.
Yes, I love that. And that's one of my goals, is to grow into something like that. And it all starts at the end of the day with your mindset. That's one thing I've really been focusing on, is mindset. Not only eating healthy and all that, but actually waking up every day. One of the first things that is getting into is some kind of a mindset podcast out there. And there's a lot of good ones, but I have one I've been listening to a lot because it triggers with me and it works for me. So it's a good start to the day, but it also it's gonna, I know, get me where I need to go. Because if your mind's not in the right space, it doesn't matter. You're just gonna keep running into walls, and was me for many, many years. You bring up the shiny objects. That's why I've had my hands in so many different things out there. It's because I have, and this is one thing that you listen to Gary Vee, patience. You have to have patience. Keep working on that, letting something develop. Man, if I say this, doing internet marketing way back early on in the 2000s, if I would have stuck with some of that stuff, I could be one of those corporations you were just talking about. But I'm not, because I didn't have patience. I had the shiny object syndrome. I'm one thing to the next, and it's learned me. It's taught me a lot of lessons. Now looking back, you can't look back and worry about it. Just look back, look at the mistakes you made. Don't let it happen again, is what it comes down to. So
absolutely,
it's just keep those blocks building.
So you talk about mindset, right? I'm always curious to know what people's morning routines are, because I feel like that's what gets you into the mindset.
Yes.
And I have a very specific routine. I'll talk to you about it a little bit later, but tell me about yours. What is it that you do to prime yourself to get in that zone each and every single day?
Wake up, start thinking positive right off the bat, because one of the things that, for some reason, it's like, I can't remember what the term is, but whatever wakes you up in the morning, it's like a stress, basically. I don't know if it's cortisol or something like that. I'm not sure if that's the right word for it.
I think it is cortisol,
And that's like a stress type of situation. So you wake up that way, and I've always, for years, even especially in that downtime I had when I was talking about that last company, or that one company, you wake up stressed, and that's all you can focus on and think about, and that's just draining you right away. Now it's wake up, think of positive things, your gratitude, what you're thankful for. At this time of the year, since it's summer, I can right to the beach and just chill, take a walk or whatever I'm going to do, if it's a run or walk, and relax, listen to something positive right off the bat. So it's either read or listen to something. I prefer listening. So I'm just taking long walks, kind of cliche, long walks on the beach, but that's what I do. And
that's perfect.
Right. And listen to something mindset, and just fills you with motivation or, positivity. And get back to the office, I guess you could say, and get the day plan and let it rock at that point.
Right.
So
No, man, I can't tell you how much I tend to agree with you because my day used to start off like that, right? Every morning, first of all, it would be a struggle just to get myself out of bed. But
yep.
as soon as I finally roll over or somebody kicks me out of bed because my alarm's rang like 10 different times, the
Yes.
first thing I did was I pick up my phone, check my emails, and be like, okay, what do I need to work on? Right? And
Yes.
I mean, there are support groups for cancer and smoking and sugar. I think there needs to be a support group for people who get up and check their email. I mean, that needs to be
Yes.
started
That's no
because
joke.
yeah, I didn't realize how draining that was because I
Yep.
always thought I only have this many hours in the day, so I need to get at it right away. And as soon as one problem was done, I go to the next email, the next email, the next email. And by the time I knew it, it's 7 o'clock. I'm
Yep.
tired. I binge watch some TV. I go to bed by 11 o'clock. And the
Yeah.
cycle just, it happened every morning.
Yes.
And my culture shift happened because of a few instances in my life. But when I finally got out of my own way, I started breaking things down into like a piece of paper.
Mm.
So now when I wake up, like I have my 10-year plan, I have my 3-year
Oh,
plan, I have my 1-year plan, my quarterly initiatives. I do what
great.
Tony Robbins talks about. I get up, I have my gratitude, I have my priming technique where I breathe in. I am like you, I go for a walk and I listen to some type of podcast, which is again either Tony, Gary V, Les Hollins, whoever it is, and
Yeah.
that gets me in the mode. And then I don't check my email until 8:30, 9 o'clock. Like I've got a dedicated time. And that surprisingly has brought in so much productivity into my life by getting rid of something that I thought was a necessity at first thing in the morning.
I agree 100%. And that is something I was doing. And I'm glad you brought that up because that is something I always would do. Wake up, email, boom, 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 boom. And because the next thing you
Right.
know, the day is gone. Is like, well, I didn't take that walk like I was supposed to, or I didn't do this.
Right.
I forgot to eat lunch and breakfast and dinner,
Right.
So, and because you're just so focused and in that mode. And it's funny you say that though, because I fell off the wagon yesterday because I did wake up, check an email, and from there just down. And it was like, next thing you know, it's 5 o'clock. I'm like, oh crap, So I made sure that didn't happen again this morning. And the other thing is stay off of social media when you wake up too. That's another
Yes.
trigger
Yes.
point or unfortunate thing for a lot. I know a lot of people do, especially the stuff that's out there or on there.
Yeah.
I try to stay away from social media. I go on there and try to get my quick updates and do whatever nowadays. But for especially early on in this whole situation that we're all in right now, I get sucked into that stuff for a while too, and it just drains you, and
Yeah.
it's not productive. So I'm taking a break. And that's
No, absolutely not. I one thing that I learned that's really truly helped me, and I tell this to my daughter a lot as well because I feel like she has a lot of my own inherent qualities,
okay.
is don't let perfection stop progress, right?
Yo, man, yes.
Yeah, and what you said right now, right? You're never going to be perfect. I have times where I make my living off of LinkedIn, right? I'm literally every single day I have either a post going on LinkedIn or I have a podcast going on LinkedIn. So there's times where my phone rings and I'm like that squirrel from Up, where I just kind of or that dog from Up, I was like,
Yep.
squirrel,
Oh yeah.
and I go pick up my phone. But then there's times where I remind myself, no, 1 hour a day, that's it. That's what you have dedicated for LinkedIn. If your post is doing great, perfect. If it's not doing well, you can't do anything about it. Just make a better post next time.
Yes.
And that mantra right there, it's not something I made up. Somebody told me, and I kind of caught on to it really well. Don't let perfection stop progress has truly changed my life.
Yes. I agree with that 100%. Because if you
Yeah.
just sit there and try to perfect, you don't get anywhere anyway at that point. It's at
Yeah.
the end of the day, what I've learned over the years and when I listen to a lot of successful people and I'm in some other groups of some successful people, it's take action.
Yes.
Don't think about it. Just go do something. Because if
Yeah.
you're going to sit around and try to perfect something, you're not going to get anything done. I mean, that's one thing that's really caught me as somebody. I always used to see the phrase out there, knowledge is power. And you still hear a lot of people say that, right? But
Right.
I heard somebody else say this, and I don't know who it was. It wasn't my phrase or anything, but applied knowledge is power. Knowledge isn't power.
Yes.
So if you don't take action with that knowledge, it means nothing at that point.
Yeah.
So, no, you're 100% right. I like where you're coming from there.
I feel like Gary Vee is probably sitting somewhere with a big smile on his face because these are mantras that are just coming straight from him, right? Just
Yeah.
put your head down once you figure out what you want to do. Just go to
Yes.
work at it, right? Don't
Yes.
don't stop from there.
Yes, and keep the blinders on. And I always try to be open to everything, but like I said, that shiny
Right.
object I am that squirrel or that dog or whatever from that movie because, and my wife
Right.
will say that all the time too. She's like, just focus on one thing. So I've always had
Yeah.
50 different things going on, and I still do to a point, but I have it much more systemized, and I'm getting better at it at this point, where I can take blocks here. I'm going to focus on this and take care of all the stuff I really need to do. When that's done,
Right.
then I can go work on this other thing over here. And so far, it's starting to work. It's working pretty well. So
I love that word, by the way. So the thing that I teach my clients, my particular program is 5 habits of success. Like
okay,
that's essentially the program that I teach. My 5 habits are: number one, simplify; number
yes,
two, to see the future; number
mm,
three is to select the right people; number four is to solve the right problem; number five, systemization. And
yes,
that to me encompasses everything that you need to do to be successful. And I think the crucial part is the the first four habits are technically innovation, right? They're great ideas, things to simplify decision making. But the last one, systemization, that's traction.
yes,
That is when you implement discipline and you, on a day-to-day basis, do the work that needs to be done. So
yeah.
is that what's changed in your life since you've
I would
implemented systemization? Is that what got you
absolutely,
there?
absolutely, because you keep building upon that every day. Like you said, you have to implement that every single day, and that's like classic sales. If you don't
Yeah,
make phone calls every single day, if you're not reaching out every day, just like you with LinkedIn, if you're not doing that every single day,
right.
you're not going to get any traction. It's going to fall off.
Yeah,
So you can have a salesperson thinks they can pound the phones for 3 days a week and take 2 days off or the rest of the time
yeah,
off. It's probably not going to get not. You might get a little traction, but you're not getting as far as you're looking to get, and then you
right.
get burned out and you quit. That's what a lot of
Yeah.
people will do. And another thing that you hit on in one of your habits is the simplification part of it,
Mhm.
which that is something I went through again a little over a year ago. We started going minimalizing everything, so just get rid of
Right.
it. If you're not using it, if you don't really have a good need for it right now, or really at all, get rid of it.
Yeah.
And we even simplified our home. We were out in Colorado. Beautiful. I love it out there. We love it. We have a lot of good friends and everything out there.
Mhm.
However, the cost of housing's ridiculous.
Right.
And the market too is probably the same way with that.
Yeah.
Um, but we had a home. And again, this is one of the other things I came from. I don't want to keep bringing up the same person, but Gary Vee. He's like, if you have
Mhm.
a 6-bedroom home and you're using 3 bedroom or 3 rooms in this place, why the heck you have a 6-bedroom home? And quite
Right.
honestly, that resonated with us because we had a 6-bedroom
Mm.
home and we barely used
Right.
any of those. That was bedrooms. Now the rest of the rooms in there, and we're downsizing. I talked to another mentor of mine. He's like, man, you
Right.
gotta cut your costs. You gotta do
Right.
everything and minimalize and just live on next to nothing because that's what's
Right.
going to get you to be growing your next company. And that's what I took action on. We did that. So now we're in a much smaller home. 3,000 or we were at 3,200 square feet. We're around only 1,000 square feet. And quite
Wow.
honestly, we're much happier where it is right now. We have less things, less clutter. You
Right.
got your stuff really nice and neat behind you. That's that keeps the mind
Yeah.
uh, motivated too, I think, or not confused and cluttered when you have no clutter around you. So
Yeah.
that's
Well,
big.
I will tell you, this is all thanks to my wife.
Yeah.
She's my rock, man. I'm telling
Yep.
you, if she wasn't in my life, I think I think I have a tendency of chaos. I really do. It's
Yes.
just the way
Yes.
I was brought up. It's so funny. When I first got hired into a really big position, like I started off as a banker and I kind of moved my
Yes.
way up. One of the interviews that got me a position, somebody asked me, he's like, if you had to tell me one good thing about you, what would it be? And I told him I'm comfortable with chaos, right?
Yeah.
I can create clarity with chaos. So, and it's so true because almost everywhere you go in life, every company you go in, it's so chaotic. It might look stable from the
Yep.
outside, but when
It's
you get inside, it's chaotic.
yes. I was just working with a company not too long ago like that. A lot of chaos.
Yeah.
There's more structuring going on within it now, and it's getting better. But it is.
Mhm.
But you, man, we're very very close because I like the chaos too, and I don't know why. And if I
Yeah.
don't have it, and maybe that's kind of a problem, I guess, because you love being in that chaos, that momentum, or that
Right.
craziness, and then when it's gone, and it's a good point because being helping in a winter business, it's
Mhm.
chaos in winter. And 2 years ago,
Yeah.
we had nothing but that, a lot of freezing rain, and I'm working all hours of the day and night, and we're just selling and selling and selling because guys needed their stuff right then. I'm running the logistics, and after that winter was done, and everybody's calling me, blowing up my phone and blowing up my emails and needing me, all of a sudden it's like you crash, and you're
Right.
like, you almost start going into a depression because you don't have that chaos anymore. So then you start looking for more, and I'm also realizing that and trying to get away from that, and just run things more peacefully. And like you said, going back to your habits, know what's coming in the future, or know the future.
Right.
That's huge. And I'm working with a financial coach right now to work on a lot of that type of stuff, budgeting better and all that. And
Yes.
he's big into that stuff, and it's great. It's almost calming, and you start to feel really good using that principle you're talking about, that habit. So
See, it's so funny because Adam, I went a completely separate way. I tried so long in my life to ignore the chaos, right? I mean, I got that position, but essentially, like everybody wants to be calm, be stable, have a normal life.
yeah,
I just inherently couldn't get away from the chaos. Like I enjoyed it so much, and it's not a bad thing.
right.
But I sooner or later figured out I need to be in a position where I find clarity in chaos. And that's why I started the business that I'm in right now, mentoring individuals and businesses, because to me, when a business comes to me or an individual comes to me, they are in a chaotic place, right?
Yeah.
They need to figure out a way to achieve their goals, to achieve success. They've tried a lot of things and it hasn't worked. And
Yes.
it's my job to take them from chaos to clarity. And once I do, then that part of my position is done, and I get to do that all over again.
I
So,
like that.
and I think that's what I enjoyed so much is just walk through the chaos, get through clarity, and then okay, I'm back at it again. And I was able to convert that and find something that really truly called to me. So I love doing it.
That, I guess, that would be fun because you're coming in and you're fixing those problems basically for people. You get to go and jump into the chaos pool, I guess you could say, for a while, and dodge a lot of bullets, hopefully, and try to fix everything, and then get out, and then go on to your next task, which is something that is, I guess, maybe that's what I do like to do. So,
it's also so funny, right? Because your chaos seems so individual to you. It seems so unique to you. But
right.
once you do this for a certain amount of time, you start to realize there's a pattern in everything.
I believe it.
By the time I get into somebody else's chaos and they say a word that triggers me, I'm like, okay, know what the problem is. I know what we need to do. And no, it's unique. I'm like, I got you. I'm not discounting it. Tell me everything you need to tell me. But here's some of the things that you're going to have to start implementing. So I think the fixes are the same. The implementation tactics become a little bit different,
Sure.
but almost everybody has the same type of pattern. They're just so close that perspective plays tricks on them. They can't move back and see what's going on in life.
Right. Yes, that's 100% true. Absolutely. And that is one goal of mine, actually, to take find people that are struggling in business like that, eventually invest in it or help them out in some capacity. I don't know how that's going to be. It's way in the future how that's going to work out, but I need to get myself somewhere first. However, that is something I do enjoy doing. You're helping people, essentially. And there's a lot of people that do struggle. There's a lot of people that probably have a similar background that, didn't grow up with much, had to fight for everything they're trying to get. And, didn't have the, that type of education growing up around you, nothing entrepreneurial or, so jump in and help people like that. That is, I love what you do. That's great.
Thank you, man. You know what? I do want to ask you. I think background is an amazing story, and you've said multiple times that you had a background of where wealth wasn't around. Tell me a little bit about that. What was your upbringing like, and again, how did it help you or hurt you to get to where you are now?
Yeah, both. I mean, background parents, they're still together. Actually, they live across the street from me at this point. So
Nice. Okay.
we moved out. We got some built-in babysitters, I guess you could say. So I have 3 kids.
Yes.
But yeah, blue collar. It wasn't. The dad's a truck driver, works for a trucking company, and my mom was mostly a homemaker for a good portion of the time, but she also had like a little side business, just cleaning homes at that point. But and that was that. So still had a thing, go to school and go get a good job and maybe go to college if you want, whatever. None of that was really forced on me. But that was it. We grew up, played a little bit of sports. I do always like playing baseball and that. And what probably hurt me is not having that financial I guess, training growing up, because like most people, and I was just at a bank today talking to a banker, and she said the same thing. Most people, kids growing up, they're not taught how to handle finances at all. So they get out in the real world, and they're just horrible with them. And I was that person. So to a point, still am, but I understand not that anymore. But that's why I still get training. I hired out a financial coach to get help with that. So now I'm going to take that and pass it on to my kids at this point, so they don't have to work through these struggles either as they get older. So that was probably where it hurt me. As for doing it the right way, they're humble people, and I'm a very humble person, and always willing to help and help other people out no matter what. And that's where I get a lot of those good traits. And that's also where I think in business I really excel in customer service. And I just did a survey recently from my service from this last winter, and I mean it was like 93% or something like that. Wow. And the 7% was more or less because of certain things that there was no really control over. It's like, well, I'd rather have more days to pay than X amount of days. That's where some of the troubles came from. So, but still, it was pretty good feedback, and I love to help people. And that's where I've always excelled with all my customers. They know that they're going to be taken care of, and I believe that's where a lot of that comes from, is taking care of people. You say something, you better freaking do it. So that's what it comes down to. So that's where I think in that upbringing is a positive. So it's just getting not focused enough on certain things, and just having that, doing more things or worrying about money all the time. That's where it's kind of that background I had too for a while, because you just never had enough money, and you saw that and you lived it. And at one point I thought everything was about money, and I think that's why I worked really hard in the beginning. It's just to go make money and make money. However, that doesn't fulfill you at all. Eventually, not everybody, but I think the majority of people, if they're just working for the money, they run into too many walls, and it's not fun, and it's just it's a grind, not a fun grind to them, and eventually you burn out. So you got to find that purpose of why.
Yeah. No, I think that's on point, because that really resonates with my own story. When I got out of college, I took the first job that came my way, paid me about $30,000 out of college. The next job that I took got me up a little bit higher. Then the next job got me a little bit higher and a little bit higher. And I started to realize that all my decisions were being based around money. But the higher I got, the worse I felt. I said this all the time, is something internally just didn't feel right. Right? Like I wasn't doing what I was meant to be doing, until I finally let it all go, just ended it without having a backup plan, figured out what I really truly wanted to do, had to restart. But once I stopped chasing money, once I started chasing the factors of money, which, like you said, is your purpose. Follow your purpose, money will come find you. It was, again, it's a plug here, but it was a complete cultural shift, right? Like everything just continued to change until this day now. Like I wake up and I was like, man, I can't believe I get paid to do this.
That's awesome.
It's like having fun, right? Like I love playing basketball. Like if I got paid to play basketball all day long, I can't believe I get to do that. So yeah, man, chase your passion. You only get one life. Why do you want to spend 90,000 hours, which is what a typical human works, third of your life doing something that you hate?
Exactly. 100%, man. And that's something that resonated with me early on. Again, I just kept chasing the wrong shiny objects for a very long time. So I even tried. I mean, I didn't even go through all college. I was like, nah, it wasn't for me. It was never my thing. I was always more of a type of, I tried going to school for marketing, and I was like, this book stuff, it doesn't work for me. I just need to go do something. So that's how it worked. When,
you're an application-based guy.
What's that? Yes.
You're an application-based guy. You need to do it hands-on.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. I can't read something and get it. That's why I need to listen to things too, and even reading. I can be reading. I was like, I don't even know what I'm reading right now. My mind starts trilling off really fast, and it's unfortunate. But that's why I like listening. But I do need to just get in and go do it. Same with sales. I could not read about it. I can go watch somebody talk about it. I just need to go get punched in the face a few times, and I'll learn from there. And that's just how I do it. So, and sales is fun. I don't know why. That's one out of anything I've been doing this whole time. That's one thing I always keep falling back on, is just sales or sales and marketing together, or whatever it may be. That's so, something I love to do in any company.
So do you think it's the sales part of it, or is it the part that you love talking to people, right?
That's it.
And sales just comes naturally out of it.
Yes, I think so. Absolutely. Just like right now, I have a ramble. You're easy to talk to otherwise too, but and you're good at guiding, but I could just ramble for hours. And I think it's just that interaction with people that I love to do. So spot on.
It's funny. The last podcast I had, the lady, it's the first time I admitted it. Now I'm just kind of telling everybody. I told her that when I was growing up, I wanted to be a Bollywood actor. Really, truly did. I grew up with singing and dancing. I loved all that aspects of it. And eventually, again, when I kind of sat down, I decided what I wanted to do. I realized it wasn't the acting, it wasn't the dancing, it was just being up in front of an audience. It was just presenting. And I think that's what kind of guided me to this career, this mold, because I love being in front of a camera and just talking to somebody. Like you said, just having I call this a Joe Rogan type of experience where it's not scripted. I don't have any questions for you. You haven't sent me anything previously.
Correct.
It's one thing leading to another. It's just humans talking amongst each other. And there's always a quality conversation that comes out of it.
Yep. I agree 100%. I like that you do it that way. It's much more fun. It takes the pressure off and just talk. Like you said, something eventually will come out of that, which I love. I love talking business, and I know you love talking business. So I mean, it's fun all around. So it's great. So Bollywood acting. So one thing I'm not comfortable with is getting in front of the camera. So for me, this is the first time I'm doing anything like this. I know, and we'll see. I mean, the nerves are still there, but this was a growing experience for me. At the end of the day, I've never done anything like this, and it's fun, and it's something we got to try doing this in maybe a few months or a year or two down the road again, and see if I polish myself up a little bit at all or not.
Well, I'll tell you, you sound like you listen to a lot of Gary Vee, so I'm gonna throw Gary Vee at you again. Start a podcast, right? He talks about it all the time. Start a podcast.
I was thinking about actually doing that, and I was talking to Chris, who you know, of course, yesterday, or was it this morning or last night? And that's something I brought up. He's like, "You know what? I might just try putting a podcast together, and maybe do it for all the misfits in business like myself, or that have been through all kinds of chaos." So.
I mean, why not, right? Like the people that I bring on board here, they're local business owners, there's some influencers, but I am more interested in talking to people who've made mistakes and are either figuring it out or have figured it out. I don't want the guy who started a business and automatically made $1 million. Good for you, but that doesn't resonate with my audience, right? You're one in a million.
Right.
I want people who've fallen down over and over again and got up and said, I'm going to do this again. Because that's what helps my audience to say, this is real life, right? Get back up and do it again. So why not? I mean, people want to know the stories of misfits. People love underdog stories. So
right.
Why not do it?
Right. I agree. 100%. So I think that's one thing that's going to put on my list. And then whenever I have my spare time, put an hour into that a day, maybe, or half hour into it a day and see where it goes. Because that's it. That's what I love it. I love talking business just like we're doing right here. And I love talking about the struggles. I think a lot of people like to watch, they like that disaster. It's more fun to watch than that person that skyrocketed and did it right away. They like the people that got just pounded on all the time. So, and keep going.
Yeah, I'm telling you, people inherently love the chaos. I'm not the only one. People love the chaos.
They do.
They just don't want to admit it.
That's 100% true. Look at the news. People love all that negative stuff. They get suck it off. It's like, get off of that. Listen to positivity or go live some life and cause some chaos.
Oh my God, I can't tell you. Yeah, I do feel like, again, a lot of, and that's a different conversation. I can't even get into that, but that sucks so much of your energy out, right? Like if you just, again, focus on something different, perspective, change your perspective and your life will completely change. Let go of the things you can't control, right? Because again, you can't control them, so why worry about it?
Exactly. Or that, that's 100% right. So
Adam, before we wrap up, I do want to ask you two questions. One, so now that you're at this point, what does the future look like for you? What do you see for yourself?
I'm at an upward, like I think I even left in that message I sent you. I think it's I feel like I'm in a good place. I have a lot of demons still to knock out. There's previous things. I got a bunch of geese flying over me. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but I'm at a good place right now, and I'm patient. Which and I'm starting to see things kind of like you said, of just building those habits of preparing and then seeing into the future.
Right.
and I'm on an upward trajectory right now. It's only good from now. The first so many years of doing this, 20 some years, is, it's just I feel like that was just preparation for like right now. So,
Yeah.
and that's where we come back I'll come back anytime you want, but a year or two right now, I think I know I will be in a whole nother level at that point. So, what was the first question? Or that was the first question, right?
No, that was it. Absolutely. I'm going to talk
So
to Chris right now to lock you down for the next year. So
that's great.
we can revisit this. Hopefully my
Yeah.
set will look a little bit different and your background will look a little bit
Yeah,
different too at that
right,
point in
right.
time.
Hopefully I'll be on the beach somewhere doing this. No, I don't know. But you're right,
Absolutely.
right.
All right. So again, before we wrap up the second one, where can people find you? If somebody wanted to get in touch with you, if they wanted to
Um,
reach out to you,
yeah.
what is the medium of your choice?
Any medium really, if they email, even text message if they want, or social media. I'm on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
Instagram, Facebook. I'm starting to work with TikTok a little bit. I haven't done anything
No.
special on there yet, but it's
Yeah.
a whole other thing. I think that can also get you sucked in for a while. I learned that in January. So,
Yes.
yikes. I wish I created that platform, but but mostly, I mean, social media, hit me up on there. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, um, LinkedIn. Like I said, if there's more business-minded people here, probably anyway in this one, and you can find me on LinkedIn. Make sure you find. That makes it challenging too, because I had 2 accounts. Maybe you might know something. I'll have to get off when we get off this. You can help me how to
Yeah.
merge 2 accounts, because I'm having
Ooh.
struggles with that. I
Okay.
had one that I'm trying to get rid of, and people are still tagging me on there. It's like I'm not on there. So yeah, just go on that account at least. Go ahead. LinkedIn is a good one. You can find me on there. Otherwise, like I said, Facebook, I'm on there as well. So just look
Perfect.
me up. Find my ugly mug on there somewhere and reach out.
No,
Definitely.
I think we've already created your webpage, so I will go ahead and add the links to all of the ways that you can contact Adam. Again,
Yeah.
guys, thank you so much for joining the Culture Shift. Again, all we do is we talk to business owners and individuals who show you how to get away from your struggles. And if you need help, reach out to our team. Let's connect. I'll go ahead and put a link to the comments below, and we can get you started as well. Thank you again,
Definitely.
and I will see you next time.
Sounds great. Thank you. Take care.